Matteo from Shoutoutuk. We're going to start talking about immigration as it's been all over the news. I think I'd like to start from the angle of all of these people saying, you know, it's New World Order and it's a way to bring in World War III. And you know, there's lots of different theories on lots of different things, and I'm not going to get into each individual theory, but on a whole, even if they were right, is it not, are these people not still the innocent? Even if it was some great plan and some great conspiracy, would the immigrants not still be an innocent party in the plan?
Well, it's no different.
Regardless, you can't deny that people are dying.
Yeah, it's no different from 9/11, is it? Even though people are stating it's an inside job, blah blah blah, it's still the fact that, you know, thousands of people died.
But I mean, sorry, I'm not entirely up to date with the whole sort of conspiracy theory bit of it. So can I have a bit of a rundown? So people are saying that loads of people fleeing for their lives from Syria and God knows where else because of the destabilization in the Middle East.
Well,
how is that part of the world government or whatever?
A few months ago, ISIS apparently put out a statement.
Yeah, go on.
There's lots of different theories, but one of the theories is that it's going to bring these people in. We're already full, we're overcrowded. This is going to build tension. People aren't going to have jobs. There's going to be riots. There's going to be civil unrest, which would lead to more things, rights being taken away from them.
This is something that ISIS posted.
Well, ISIS claimed a few months ago, apparently, I don't know where this info, I haven't seen any proof of this information yet because I haven't looked into it, but someone from more mainstream turned around and said, well, they said it themselves, this isn't just waffle. ISIS claimed they were going to send thousands of them over in refugees and kill us all, but I've not seen that link yet.
But then there's another theory of like the extra pressure in a already struggling market when you look at the likes of China and how their stock market's been going. If you have all these extra people in this country and there's tighter cuts and there's things like this, the immigrants are going to be blamed, there's going to be uprising, people are going to be rioting, there's going to be a rise of EDL, all of that, and that's orchestrated because the more chaos there is, the more you look for solutions, the easier we'd hand over our rights to the government.
Of course. I mean, I would never sort of suggest, though, that this is an ISIS plan because, I mean, I just, personally, I don't see it.
It's been going on time since ISIS were about. That's like the Iraq war and things like that.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, the thing is that there's a difference between what's happening and when this has been started to be covered by the media, because this mass migration of immigrants happened in the exact same way during the first and second Gulf War when the US went in and screwed up half the Middle East because they decided to, you know, both Bushes decided to, I'm going to have a war for a while. And the trouble is that most of it went for Italy, and Italy at the time didn't have much press coverage because it just wasn't in the press's interest. But they had people en masse in boats in the exact same way coming across. It's not something new that ISIS have developed. It's something that has happened for a long time, and I don't know, because I know it because of that, because of my family in Italy and so forth. For me, it's just something that the British media have blown out of proportion. And the trouble is, because people only get half the information, I've always seen that whenever conspiracy theories come out, it's always because somebody has half the information and then link it with something else because it doesn't make sense. Well, I agree it doesn't make sense, but that's because the media only gave you half of what's happened because they've only jumped on board with the situation.
It's really
become interesting.
In a situation like this, obviously the mainstream media started the whole ISIS, they're going to come over in drones with the fucking refugees, and then there's all these memes going out. There was one of a army person, and then they memed it, ISIS in Syria 2014, and then 2015 German refugee, and they put photo, and obviously it had been debunked anyway. It was whatever, I don't know, but there's all these false photos going around. But the one thing that worries me is that some activists are actually spouting the same words as mainstream media at the minute. Can't even imagine how many activists. I've removed 16 people from my account last week because of the way they were like, but can we really do this? Is this, it's a false flag? This is, we should, and it's like, well, what do you want us to fucking do with these people? Put them back on a boat, let them drown, send them back to be murdered? What do they want us to do?
I mean, I had a conversation with this musician from the Middle East called Atala, because we're launching our YouTube channel. We're doing a load of videos with them and so forth. And this guy is in the Middle East. He goes normally between Bahrain, Saudi Arabia and so forth, and he's quite outspoken. Obviously careful with what he says, because over there you can get shot for a lot of the things we say here freely. But in the talk on Skype, he was sort of saying that actually, you know, we in Europe have no idea what is actually going on here in the Middle East. Because when we initially funded ISIS to combat Assad, we gave them tons of weapons, tons of training, and a lot of money. And now these, it would be the equivalent of giving all that to the EDL and letting them run right around England. What do you think would happen? They'd have a massive exodus of indigenous people. You know, all of these people that are coming to Europe, what he said, they're in survival mode. You know, they don't care how they're going to get through. They're literally picking up their stuff, leaving everything at home, and going away because they know they're going to get killed otherwise. Because ISIS, unless you fit a very, very strict, idealistic form of Islam, you're going to die. You know, and these people have gone, effectively, it's almost like, you know, the Stanford experiment. I think it was the Stanford experiment, when they gave some students power and some students were the prisoners.
Yeah, I remember.
They had to stop the experiment because the prison guards were nuts basically from power. Now ISIS have complete and utter power. They're basically gods in that part of the world at the moment, and that has probably got into their head. So anybody that they don't like, maybe your beard's not long enough, or you don't pray enough, or whatever, you will get killed straight away immediately. So these people are on a massive exodus.
But if you look at history, it's a bit like I mean, with the ISIS power, is that any finger pointing, oh, he did this, he did that, and you're fucking executed. You know, the witch day, you know, like, oh, she's a witch. Oh, he's a Christian. Oh, he's done that. It's not, the control over these people is immense. I mean, they have their teeth pulled out and everything.
Mm.
It's like, it's not even, there is no like trial and jury of anything. You don't have like a town council that decides whether you're innocent or not. Somebody points a finger and you're fucking gone.
Well, it's like, and I mean, you can see this throughout the whole spectrum, and that is the difference between a democracy, even though we use that word loosely when it comes to Britain and other countries in the West, and in general around the world. But there is a difference between that and a free society. Because if you look at, for example, it's like what you guys were, what was, I think we were talking about this a little while ago, about activists and pointing the finger. As soon as someone points the finger and calls you something, everyone else sort of jumps on the bandwagon, and therefore
it's like a blob of jam. You put a blob of jam on somebody's back, and the rest they follow. The majority.
And that is how ISIS operates. You know, one person accuses you of something, and then everyone jumps on board.
That would be scared not to.
For any normal human being, that prospect of living in a society like that is utterly terrifying.
Your 9-year-old
people are marching away.
you know, your 9-year-old daughter being stolen to be married or whatever, you know, you'd be absolutely petrified being a parent over there. Your boys will be taken away to learn to fight or die, and your girls will be sent off to some fucking paedophile to marry.
So, of course, these people are marching, and it's not like, I mean, ISIS, you know, this organization in the Middle East hasn't existed in recent. They were a terrorist organization, right? All they wanted to do was blow shit up, realistically. That's all they thought about. They just wanted to know how they can impact the West by blowing something relevant to the West. ISIS is completely different. They don't necessarily care so much about the West. They use the West and us to install hatred in Muslims about us, right? And then our governments use ISIS as a way of installing fear into us so that we will give them more of our rights and liberties. But ISIS, they're not really a terrorist organization in the traditional sense because they care more about establishing their own state in Syria. They don't have huge amounts of influence. What they use in the West, I think, is more about PR. You know, to get more and more people coming over here. Because they need migration, because most people are moving away from them. So they need more people to come into them so that they get more soldiers.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that.
It's just all fit. We could second guess what the big plan is and what people are thinking and why people do whatever they do. At the end of the day, people are dying either way. These people are, you know, risking absolutely everything. Calais looking, it's just unbelievable, the photos coming out of Calais. And did anyone see that journalist? Was it Hungary?
Paulay or something like that. Yeah, the Hungary journalist. Yeah.
And then she tripped a man carrying his child.
Yeah.
A news reporter. She got that.
Yeah, but she was part of Jobbik, wasn't she? They found she was part of Jobbik.
But it's like, and going back to the pictures, you know, and how they've been debunked. One of them is like a picture of a bloke hugging or something. They've just come to Germany, you know, when they were all clapped in or whatever, and they've taken a still from that video, and it is all men in that video. But if you only have to watch it a couple of seconds more, and you see them being reunited with all the women and children. You know, so they're not just males coming over. And when I was collecting stuff for Calais, and that was the thing that most people said to me that don't, you know, that listen to the news and think, don't look at alternative media, were saying to me, but there's no women over there. And I'm like, there is women and children. There is.
The thing is, that it costs a lot of money to get on one of those boats. And people were saying, oh, they got smartphones, all this. Like, it's like, these are middle class families. When you're running for your life, the one thing, and you know your village is being pillaged, you'd grab your mobile phone to make sure that, you know, whenever you were getting somewhere, you could find out who was still alive. Of course, you'd take your community. These are the dark ages, medieval. Oh, they're from the Middle East. They should live in the medieval times. Fucking hell.
It's like they think they're escaping it. You know,
yeah.
Evil times and come into the future.
We didn't have fridges. We had blocks of ice that lasted 24 hours. What? Oh.
You know, this might surprise some people, but in Africa, they have mobile phones and they have Wi-Fi. And to get it to the remote villages where they haven't got the cabling for Wi-Fi, they use baked bean tins. They rebound off each other, and it works.
That's good. It's crazy how people connect poverty with refugee, isn't it? When really it's not poverty-stricken. Well, they are now, but it's war-torn. They're seeing it's poverty. It's got absolutely nothing to do with the situation. You could own a mansion, but if somebody was threatening your children, you'd have to move out that mansion.
The only difference is, right, if you're really rich, you just apply for a visa and England says, oh, yeah, you've got that much money, you can come over here. You know, the really rich will be able to get...
ISIS should be all right. ISIS should be all right. They could just sell a couple of those Toyotas they've got.
But you've got the problem of... Yeah, but then they're very public come in, haven't they? you've got people, middle class people that were working, was successful, had nice houses. War broke out in their area, and they ran like anybody else would, because bombs don't check your class before landing. They just go. They're going to hit and devastate a whole entire area. They don't discriminate. They don't just aim at
something that our government should think about before with Syria.
But then we have to go back into the fact that we now have the calls for more bombing. Like that's some kind of solution. How many people are still stuck there? How many? It seems to me that we, for a long time, had the false sense of security that civilians weren't targeted. That to target civilians is a criminal, is a war crime.
But there's blatant proof of Israel using white phosphorus, which is it's biological warfare, isn't it? Basically, and we've got proof of it on video, yet they've not been held accountable. And
if you look at, I'm sure it's Hungary, where they've been like putting people into the camps. The army now have permission to use pepper sprays and rubber bullets on the immigrants.
That's not bad enough, because that video earlier showed them beating up the refugees. One, I think it was a father and holding a smaller child with an umbrella, and they're just whacking away.
I should have said refugee. I'm just still thinking about that meme.
Yeah, that was quite funny. That was brilliant. That was a good one.
I don't know what the solution is.
No, I don't.
I know we do need to have compassion.
Well, I mean, the trouble is that we have messed around with the Middle East so much, and that part of the world so much, because of oil interests and various other things, that it's become...
Syria, isn't there?
Huh?
There's oil in Syria as well.
Oh, Syria's heavily in oil.
Yeah.
Syria, Saudi Arabia, and so it's just the other countries, unlike Saudi Arabia, chose not to play ball, and this is what happens if they don't play ball with the States and Europe. The trouble is that we've created this mess, and it's not entirely clear if the West are sort of happy with it. I mean, they're dealing with what a bad situation is given them, and that is a way of controlling and creating fear. In the sense that, oh, well, this is ISIS, this is what they're doing, blah, 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 give us some of your rights and freedoms. So it's a way they're doing that, but it's a very difficult situation, because every time we've gotten involved, the matters actually got worse. The trouble is that we now have to be involved, because we funded ISIS, we gave them all this weapons, and money and training and so forth, and now, quite rightly, the Kurds are sort of saying, well, we're fighting with our own means, but you gave them all this stuff, and now you're not prepared to fund us.
But it's just creating a bigger problem, because what happens if they do give the Kurds the guns and all the weapons? What happens if they turn into the next ISIS?
The trouble is that I'm not saying that we should go around arming other militant groups. I'm just saying that there is an argument to say that would then balance the battlefield. Because at the moment, I mean, frankly, the Kurds have been pushing ISIS back. How? God knows, because they're sharing guns between themselves, because they've got hardly any. And when the Americans did drop supplies to the Kurds, they dropped them in the wrong side of Kobane. So they dropped arms, food, and stuff on the east side of Kobane, which is the part controlled by ISIS, and on the west side, which is the part controlled by the Kurds. The Kurds then, which is amazing, you should read up on it if you ever get the chance, to fight for Kobane, because Kobane was then taken back by the Kurds. And what they did is that they retreated out of western Kobane to allow ISIS to take it over. ISIS obviously then celebrated the fact that it was taken over. At night, the Kurds did incursions into Kobane to get back the weapons, food and armament and all the rest of it. They managed to take most of it back, and then they pushed ISIS back in the morning, early morning. with two-pronged attacks, and that was amazing. And these people have done that with no real help from the West, or no real help that we know of anyway. And that is the reality of the situation: is that we have created a massive power in the Middle East, which is growing. And how do we deal with that? Do we put boots on the ground? I don't think that's the right way to do things. Do we just bomb the living daylights out of ISIS? I don't think that's the right way to do things anyway, because look what happened to Libya when we bombed it. You know, now they have no real government or no real structure at all.
The issue of the president as well, because that's another fight that they're fighting. They're trying to fight two fights at the moment.
I mean, what I would suggest, I mean, this is only my opinion, is that I just think that we need to let it be. I know it may sound horrible, but the Middle East, we need to let it be. Because the reason why the West grew with freedom of speech and democracy at a time is that the people did it themselves. The people eventually overthrow said dictator. You know, I mean, Saudi Arabian king would have been overthrown years ago if it wasn't for the fact of the West supporting him. You know, all of these things, they would have happened years ago, and that is the problem, that we are interfering with these governments because we want them to remain autocratic, dictatorial, because then the dictator does what the West wants, and that is to keep control of fuel resources.
Yeah, because look what happened to Gaddafi.
Well, as soon as he
you can't let no one in the Middle East is able to have somebody that stands up for the rights of the people. It's you know, nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. No dictator especially has not been perfect. But generally they wiggle through, don't they? They win their rights. You know, it's what we kind of do. There's been no protests. Really, no, not protests, but we haven't really won anything without some kind of payoff or backflip to the government, with any form of force, without, you know, with our voices. Over the years, things like the poll tax, we didn't eradicate the poll tax. I was listening to this the other day. We didn't eradicate the poll tax. They just brought in council tax.
Yeah, but they had something before they had the rates before the poll tax. There was always something.
But we didn't win. We didn't win. We're still paying for it, and it was just done in a way that people accepted it.
The arguments with the poll tax was about the unfairness of paying for every single adult over 18 in the house.
Yeah.
So the rates you just pay per household. So the argument, what they were fighting for with the poll tax, was to take it back to like the rates where a household was charged. And that's what happened with the council tax, whether we agree with the council tax or not. So they did win, because they never fought for nothing. They didn't say, we don't want to pay any tax. They wanted it taken back to like the rates where you only paid one payment for the household. Because what was happening with the council tax is if you had 4 children still living at home and you were married, you were having to pay for each one of those children, even though you only had one bin. You know, your bins weren't being emptied any more often or anything like that. And it wasn't fair. Because and a lot of old people were struggling because the couple were now having to pay it rather than just paying one set amount. The problem was when the council tax come in, it was still very high.
Yeah. This is what I mean. The debt has stayed the same. The payment has stayed generally the same. It's just the name that has changed. Eventually, they've managed to get away with to a point, and even now with bedroom tax, that's added back onto it. It might as well be called poll tax again. But with this general the way we work, we don't seem to fight as hard as these countries. I don't feel that we do. We do have a voice, and but we can't collectively get together and use this voice. Look at is it Takism Square, Egypt, and the solidarity.
No, not Tiananmen Square. That's in China. Sorry, got the wrong one. But yeah, no, you're right. The
Yeah, you know what I mean. The
solidarity
square, yeah. The solidarity there when Palestine, no matter what was happening to them, they were out on the street every week, and it was every member of all the streets out. You know, every week they were being shot at, and I just look at it and think that we haven't even nearly got to the bravery of them yet, and they didn't use weapons. They weren't using weapons. They weren't fighting back in terms of you know, getting out and start shooting the government. They were fighting back in force though, and they had willpower. We were saying it before though, weren't we, Pete? Like Ukraine, where they stood out. All right, that went a little bit wrong. You know, the right wing kind of snuck through at the end, but with Ukraine, they stood there for days in the rain.
They share things, and they don't even know what they're sharing half the time. So not all activists, but some activists. Like somebody shared the other day a politician being thrown in the bin and was saying how great it was, and I was like, yeah, but it was like the extreme right?
Yeah.
This pro-Israel and racist.
But they were really gentle with that old man and that lady. Did you know they were a lot gentler on the lady, and then that older man, they kind of like.
You know, I'd love to throw a few politicians in the bin, but they were quite.
They did look very. Yeah, they did seem to be very
funny, but it's also sharing it's like sharing Britain first, really.
It's very savage.
Me and Kiki got caught up in one on Twitter, didn't we? Somebody sent a picture of the statue being toppled. And
yeah.
We was like, oh yeah, what's that? And then it ended up being some right-wing fascists from Ukraine.
One old social media guy got caught up in one of those as well. Where we obviously every time someone comments on Twitter about our articles, we normally retweet it unless it's obviously racist or whatever else. And some guy from the EDL commented on one of the articles, but it wasn't a comment that was anything, you know, racist or anything extreme. It was just, you know, just a standard comment, but it came from one of their sort of, and the guy retweeted it. To which point I started looking at it, and I swear I recognised that cross from somewhere, and it was sort of ringing the alarm bells in my head. And I was like, I swear where do I recognise it from? And then I clicked on it, and it said, you know, white power. And I thought, fuck.
Quickly unretweet,
unretweet, and I called him up and said, what the hell are you doing? And he was like, yeah, no, I was about to call you, I just realised.
I've done that once where someone hasn't used the proper grammar, and if you used the grammar one way, it sounded like they were agreeing with me, and I reread it, and I thought, are they agreeing or not? And I'd retweeted it. I reread it again, and they'd put another comment underneath, and I looked on their page, and I was like, no, they're not agreeing with me. They're seriously not agreeing with me. And it's not till you look into it, but that's grammar for you, I'm telling you.
Well, that's a politician, isn't it? When they say one thing but mean the other.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, because I kind of got roped in on it quite easy, and it weren't till I read it a couple of times. I was like, yeah, that comma should be there. I don't think they're being kind.
But you see, that's the trouble with social media, that it's a great tool to emphasize and promote your cause, but it is not the be-all and end-all of a cause. And that's the problem. I think in the West here, we're starting to make social media activism sort of the be-all and end-all, because people feel really good about, oh, look, I retweet, I'm supporting it. It's like, no, you're not. You're not down here lobbying MPs or marching through Parliament or writing a blog or being there. And that's a big problem.
Yeah.
Is that unlike in...
Just like a charity, isn't it? It appeases the empathy.
Ego.
Yeah, the ego. Yeah, it does. It appeases the ego, because a lot of people, like, I give £3 to charity. It's like, you know, I've had that a few times and then gone a whole cancer research kind of organisation, corporation shit, and you go on a rant and you think you're not helping, you're actually making it worse.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you know, like, for example, the Arab Spring was a perfect use of social media as well as activism, and it just shows what social media can do if put together with marching through the streets, going to that square and mass praying, for example, like they did. Emphasize that with Facebook, and that creates a massively powerful movement because it shows the world what you're trying to achieve. It's like a way of advertising something that would normally, that advertising would normally cost millions of pounds, and you're getting it for free because there are people tweeting about it.
I actually don't believe that austerity has gotten bad enough to a point for enough people to have the determination needed to make something like that work yet.
Of course not.
People are still worried about making sure they get home on Monday so that they don't lose that job because this might not happen. What needs to happen is everyone go, you know, this will happen. We're going to stand here, wait here, make some noise until something gets done. And it needs to be for a long time. You look at Iceland, and anyone that says it was peaceful, it was majority peaceful. It wasn't like completely peaceful, but it was the willpower they had. They didn't move. They didn't leave.
Right.
But it was also because when it's what Mark, you know, it's the same sort of saying of Marx, is that the people won't march unless they have nothing to lose but their chains. At the moment, people still have more to lose than just their chains.
It's a day out. It's a day out to make them feel better.
Well, talking of days out, I went to Disneyland. I am going to have to cover this because as any activist who can get down there really should get down there. When you go through the art show, there's like a beach picture, and it's got the sea, and then it's just got four shadows upside down and a ball. And I said to my daughter, that must be, I bet that's a Gaza artist. And I walked forward to the name on the floor, and it was. So that was the 4 boys that had been killed over in Gaza by the bombs playing football on the beach.
Oh, yeah.
I see the migrant boats as well.
The migrant boats were absolutely brilliant. You know, you get them boats with the steering wheel where you put 20p in and you control the boats?
Yeah.
3 of them are just full of migrants. And then one of them's like border control. And then it's got like floating action men all around that drowned.
We shouldn't really say migrants at that point. We should say refugees, but...
Yeah, refugees.
I mean, those are definitely refugees.
Yeah.
They were definitely refugees. And it's just thought-provoking. But the nice thing about it was there was 2 tents that were completely dedicated to activism. I mean, the whole place is pretty much dedicated to activism.
I was going to say, that's pretty much what that art entails, doesn't it?
Didn't you win a fish in a bag?
Oh yeah, they've got a hooker duck, which is really impossible because the hook's as big as the hole, and the woman she stick out the way. A fish finger in a bag.
Fish finger in a bag. You won.
It's like a Banksy style drawing of a fish finger. It's cardboard.
Oh,
Instead of a god. And there's a sign, it says free hot dogs for anyone who can guess what meat's in their hot dog. And the best one, like, got a pocket money loan and loads of toys and things for absolutely extortionate prices and high interest and that. It's got an advert saying school bullies, if you're out of work over the 6 weeks holiday, we need bailiff.
That sounds good.
But if you go into the activism tents, like one of them is just full with different protest signs, which is really nice because they're from around the world, you know, and that's just really interesting to go and see them. Then in another tent, they actually have causes. And one of the causes I spoke to is called Acorn, and they're a community group that mainly at the moment are focusing on, you know, like revenge evictions and things like that, and trying to get the council to change their policies on landlords and things like that, and they've helped people being evicted. But another one is, you know, there's signs that you must have seen them, like they look like Metropolitan Police signs, and they put them in the bus station.
Oh, the ones that say, oh, the police kill so many people a year, or that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, they were there, and they were selling the tools. And they were giving you leaflets and advice on how you could get into these advertising boxes, where the light switches were to turn them off, and things like that. They were selling sticker bombs, so you could go around stickering everything. You know, it's a great place for activists, really is.
What's it called again?
Dismaland.
Dismaland.
Yeah, it's really hard to get tickets, but if you turn up on the door, they do let 300 in at 11 at 3 o'clock. They've got Pussy Riot playing there soon.
Oh, really? It's a temporary art project organised by street artist Banksy.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's free. It cost me £9 for my whole family to get in there.
Jesus.
Definitely an activist, isn't it?
Def is brilliant. Def comes out right on a bumper car to really solemn music, and then Def in a bumper car, and then Staying Alive comes on, and he's just jamming into the bumper car, and then he just goes back in again. They got a baby that's like a fetus, like in a vending machine, and it's just covered in brands.
That's weird. He's very talented, isn't he?
But I think something like 60 international artists have put work on display there. And they've got inside the actual castle, which looks like the Disneyland castle. You go in, and it's got the little video of Cinderella living happily ever after, and then they take your picture, and then you go on in, and it's like a carriage has just crashed, and her body's spewed out the door, and her horses are dead, and the paparazzi are just taking pictures.
I can see it. I'm on the BBC website. I saw it.
Is that like Princess Diana?
Cinderella's Princess Diana in there.
That's fucking crazy, isn't it?
It's just so random. It's like it really gets you thinking.
They're going to boost the economy by £7 million. That attraction is going to make.
Attraction.
Yeah, and apparently Bristol Council have called the attraction Twisted.
One councillor knew about it. I think he was a Labour councillor. He knew about it, and he helped with the planning permission. And I think he got a load of stick for not talking out about it. But he said, "Why should he?" I
love how the BBC, right? This is the first article that comes up about it. Banksy's Disneyland provides weapons guide ahead of arms fair.
Right, I tell you what, they've got a cruelty bus, and you go on there. It's got the homeless spikes. It's got the riot gear that the police wear against you. It shows you a little bit about how chickens are killed. It shows you like the sort of stuff that's used in Gaza. It's got quotes from MPs all over the wall, about taking away our civil rights. And the one thing I would say that will make it worthwhile is the amount of sheeple that went through them doors just because it was Banksy. And if any one of them comes away thinking a little bit deeper, it's worth it. You know what I mean? The amount of people that are travelling through them doors, some of them have got to start thinking about something they didn't.
I think some will, but I watched a woman try and padlock a gate today for 2 solid minutes by putting the padlock on top of the gate.
I saw a woman
and thinking that it would still stay shut. Yet she didn't even think to open the lock, wrap it around the middle of the gate. She kept slipping it over the top of the gate, so you could just slide it off. And that's what I watched today, and that diminished my hope by 20% at least.
There was 2 people there that I thought were beyond help. One of them was queuing up to go in the cruelty bus with a animal's tail hanging from her back. And I was thinking, there's no hope there. The other one wore really, really high heels, and this place is derelict. The floor is like not smooth. It's like it looks. I think it must have been like an open air pool or something. And half the pavement's missing in places, and there's sand and stones and everything all over the place, and she was just struggling. And I thought, yeah, come in here. Probably not the best guy.
It does make you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really does.
But it's open at night, and I'm hoping to go down on the last night before, because it'll be my 3rd visit, though. If I'm lucky enough to get tickets for a 3rd time, because they are really hard to get hold of.
Where is it?
In Somerset.
Next to Bristol, isn't it? They were saying.
Weston-super-Mare.
When's it open till?
The 27th of September.
Not long then.
No.
I won't make it. I'll have to live it through you, P.
I might video that.
Yeah.
It's all sold out.
Yeah, every week, and the next tickets go on sale Saturday, I think it is. It should say on the website. Saturday or Right, shields for sale there. In the gift shop, there were £600. I really wanted one. There were smiley face white shields. And people put them on eBay, £3 straight away.
Jesus.
And I'll tell you who made them. It was an artist, but I think he used to be in like KLM or something like that.
Huh. God, it does make you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you'd hope anyway.
Well, my boys loved it. We did. When I walked in, you walk through right this cardboard like security, and I was like, "This is like being back at Parliament." Have you got any of these things? And the staff are just really rude. And then when we got inside, this bloke with the ladder was following us around, telling everyone to call social services because we were really irresponsible parents bringing our children to such a place.
Wait, what happened? What happened?
At Disneyland, when I walked in, because I had 2 young kids with me, and it does say might not be suitable for young children. It's fine. Some of the staff that are paid to be miserable had loudspeakers, and they were just following us around going, call social services. They're irresponsible parents here, bringing their kids to a place like this. And the least they could do is go and get bags for their eggs and things like that.
Go and get what?
Bags for their eggs. And my boys ran to get on these ride-ons that they have there, but they're like rusty, unplugged in, but they didn't care. They were just playing on them.
Sounds hilarious.
But, I really did enjoy that, like the talking to people, see what they were doing around the country and things. Some of them were quite.
What kind of people were there anyway? I mean, what kind of people were there?
There was all sorts. There was a lot of activist types, a lot of like, and it was just interesting to get to talk to different people. You could tell like the ones that would be like, I don't know, they stood longer looking at the sort of things you were looking at and things, so you just got like, in the actual tent there was Strike magazine, newspaper was in there as well. I brought one of them.
A Strike magazine?
Yeah, newspaper. Yeah. I brought one anyway. I'm going to read it later. Sit down with a cup of coffee and read me Strike.
When did you go again?
I went on Wednesday for the second time, and on the way back from holiday I just chanced it. I queued up for an hour and I got tickets to go in.
Oh, you're lucky with these things, aren't you?
She's always wins everything as well. It's like whenever you go round there, you go to her. Oh, that's nice. Where'd you get that? Oh, I want it.
I used to do competitions. That's how I used to get things. £37,000 worth of stuff one year.
You got what?
Won £37,000 worth of stuff one year. That was my best year.
God.
I won a Sedgway, £5 Sedgway.
I'm going to start doing crossword puzzles.
What, start to be like P?
Yeah, I won't win. I'll probably lose. They'll lose it and I'll get charged the other end for something.
I was going to say, somehow, with your luck, you'll probably end up losing money.
I am like the bad luck there, aren't I? Out the two of us, I'm like the fall guy. I literally, everything, if it's going to go wrong,
it'll go to you.
Yeah, every single time.
Ugh.
Yeah, P bouncing on clouds, like, woo!
Well, I did competitions because I thought the bastards ain't getting none of me money. If I don't win it, I'm not having it. I won my washing machine and everything. I'm giving
I need to win a tumble dryer next. You seriously need to, because like it's hanging on it. It's like when you're around there, you can hear it like, please let me die. Literally have to.
Why did you bother going shopping ever?
Somebody
don't.
Really?
Have you ever done the lottery?
What?
Have you ever done the lottery?
Yeah. I haven't won the lottery yet. Yeah. I'm gonna.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think with your luck you probably should.
I'm I buy most things second hand and I do competitions. That's how my kids get their laptops and things like that. Because I you know, I go out watching against these people. I don't really want to give them my money.
Nah.
Well, you're winning if you get it all for free, don't you?
Yeah. So then I don't have to worry about the consciousness.
You never
some-
know. 2016 may be the year of luck. I'm
I'll take-
aiming something.
We'll have no money and we'll all be in the same boat.
Oh my god, I found the deaf one. The picture of I was looking at the Disneyland thing.
Remember the Dodgems?
Oh, he really goes for it. He's brilliant.
I was looking through the images on Google, and I found the one with Death. Death somehow grinning on a bumper car with a princess on the side, with all like what looked like starving children in the back. And then I think that's the Cookie Monster in a car with Somali pirates.
Probably. It's a mad place, but it's brilliant.
But it's just funny because Death is massive.
He is.
He's just got this massive grin and he's driving this tiny bumper car. And Elmo, not Elmo, sorry, what was his name? The Cookie Monster, who probably, he looks like he's on speed or something. And he's just driving this car full of Somali soldiers. It's just, what?
Damien Hirst and everything did. There's loads of artists that have done things in there, and you go into this one room, and there's like a complete cityscape, and it's really tiny. It's got tiny policemen, and it's got all little lights. But most of the streets of London are filled with like police cars flashing and detaining like that. But it's got so much detail in it. If you look in one block of flats, in one of the little windows, it's got a tiniest little Banksy in his window. But these are really, yeah. But they've had to now put a fence around it because people were nicking the little figures and putting them on eBay. But it actually looks better with all the police cars and everything, with it all being fenced off. Kind of added.
That's hilarious.
I'm looking now.
Oh, I love the Disneyland one where Mickey Mouse is on there with 2 X's, so he's dead. And it's like, welcome to Disneyland. Life isn't always a fairy tale. I think that's brilliant.
It's got right away from the train station. They've sprayed arrows and Banksy, so you're not going to lose your way there. And the pub on the way has got all they're not done by Banksy, but they're Banksy style pictures going all the way round where people have done them. And inside, it's just brilliant.
Oh, it's like
it looks awesome. It does.
The mini thing is like Lego, but it's like if Legoland had a riot, that's what it looked like.
They've got a sign when you go in. There's no legal representation representatives from Disney allowed in the building.
Oh, I can see one of them where there's a flood and there's all the police are sort of standing on the police van.
Yeah.
God, the detail's insane.
It is, because like one of the like billboards is by some stairs, and it's got like a Banksy style Stephen Hawkins trying to get up the stairs. It's not really much. The details.
I see it. Pocket money loans. Get out of debt with a pocket money loan.
Oil-covered ducks.
Yeah.
Floating ducks.
That's where you and the golf instead of the golf course, which has got like oil drums and things like that. And people were playing it, trying to get their balls back. But the whole idea of it, I think, is that everything's broken and you never get your golf ball back. They're on the floors trying to get their balls out of these holes. But they got like a ginormous white whale coming out of a toilet with a mannequin stood in a wetsuit and a hoop going into a paddling pool of oil.
I mean, it's brilliant.
It does look brilliant, yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely brilliant. The poster is that's still the funniest. The most disappointing new visitor attraction. That poster is. I mean, I can't get over that picture of Death smiling as he's driving away. And
He's like,
Elmo driving the van is hilarious. Have you seen that one, Kiki?
Which one?
The poster.
I can't see. No, a lot of them are the Grim Reaper. I've found the caravan and the giant sandcastles.
that's mad. It spins round upside down and everything, but if you're inside it, it's still.
Yeah, I found all that, but I'm not finding.
The
Just
merry-go-round.
found the refugees.
You know,
The
like
one with the one with Elmo is hilarious.
Oh goodness! I've just found the Somalian pirates ones.
they've got like the old-fashioned merry-go-round, and one of them's missing, and it's a bloke with a big hatchet sat on a box of lasagna. Horses hung up behind him. It was full of. It goes really fast. It was full of protesters with placards going, "Protesting is illegal." And then it was just really mad.
It's the Princess Diana's head on a £10 note. That one's just come out. But mine are flashing up the same sort of image. I think I'm being restricted by Google or something. I don't know. They're not letting me see half the images. It just repeats of all of them. Keeps coming up with those pocket money loans.
Oh my god. You need to have seen that one with the Cookie Monster. It's hilarious.
I want to see that one.
He looks like he's driving this van full of what look like Somali pirates, and he just looks like he's on acid. The tiny police figures look amazing. I mean, the detail's insane. I'm still looking at that.
The Punch and Judy with the big sign that says "Warning: Small Domestic War Zone." That's Jimmy Savile.
Oh, so he goes quite deep then. Oh, I found the man on the carousel.
The lasagna man.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems to be very, very, very deep.
Yeah, brilliant.
I'm gonna look for Elmo. Dismalland.
He's not Elmo. It's the Cookie Monster, I think. It's the blue one.
Mm. They've got like a Donald Duck laying in. It looks like a back alley with loads of shopping trolleys and things like that, and his guts are all hanging out. And it's got these.
Oh, poor Donald.
A riot van in take with a slide going down it.
I found the Cookie Monster. That's so weird.
Doesn't he look on?
Oh, yeah. That's so strange. It's acid tripping.
If you're in that way, £3 on the door if you manage to get in. Best £3 spent.
Yeah.
It definitely seems worth doing. It's amazing. Are you still laughing at the Cookie Monster?
Yeah. Sorry. Oh. There's some good ones, isn't there? I definitely want to go. It's brilliant.
I got another section which is you can tell that there are from people in war zones, like they've got a heart made out of barbed wire and a bit of a security fence and a woman like poking through and there's some like protesters kicking off the police. It's like there's so much art there, so much effort gone into it.
I mean, yeah, you can see it. I mean, there's no small amount of effort going into that. I mean, all those police figures must have been melted down purposely. 'Cause a lot of them, they're doing certain things and so on. It's amazing. It's amazing to see. It's brilliant that there is something out there like that, though, and there is.
Well, that's what I thought.
Because even if someone goes there without the intention, just goes there for kicks, they will end up thinking about some of the stuff. Because it is very thought-provoking. Even just looking at the images on Google, it's amazing.
You can't not connect the Diana Cinderella.
I mean, that is anybody can do that. I mean, that is probably one of the most in-your-face ones there.
Yeah.
The Cookie Monster one, I'm not entirely sure.
I found the police one. I found the police one.
But you could probably get with that one is probably corporate sponsorship for terrorist and extremist organisations in different parts of the world.
There's a big bill with David Cameron on it, and like protesters pushing it back up, and it's getting all crinkled.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I saw that one with the David Cameron poster.
Mm.
Yeah, I've seen the David Cameron poster. Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to head off, but I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah.
Right, have a good time in the USA.
Yeah. Have fun.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you guys soon.
Bye. Are we gonna go off live now?
Yeah.